I regret not making my marriage work, and now my ex-husband is happily remarried. When I was in my early 30s, I made the decision to divorce my husband. Looking back, it feels like a dream. We were young, in love, and everything was going well. We didn't have any significant arguments or monumental issues tearing us apart. The challenges came after having our son, and that's when things started to unravel. Being a stay-at-home mom, I took pride in raising our child, but I also expected more from my husband. I wanted him to be involved in housework and childcare. Even though he worked full-time, he was always willing to help, and I can't fault him for that. But over time, I began to demand more and more from him, and I could see the light in his eyes starting to fade. I used to have him wrapped around my finger. I knew exactly how to manipulate situations to get what I wanted, and I took advantage of that power, but eventually, he grew tired of it, and the threats of divorce that were once idle became all too real. I remember the day I told him I wanted a divorce. He looked at me, pain in his eyes, saying he knew the baby was just stressing us out and that he wanted to make it work. But at that moment, at age 30, I felt invincible. I had lost the weight I gained during pregnancy, and I still felt beautiful. I believed I could do better than him, so I left him, taking our house in the divorce and sharing joint custody of our son. Fast forward to today, I'm 41, still single, and my ex-husband is 41 and happily remarried to a stunning 31-year-old woman. They had their daughter 3 years ago, and every time I see them together, my heart aches. He's bought a new house, and my son loves spending time with his other family. It makes me jealous. I keep thinking, she has it all. She took my husband and my kid, and even the life I once had. Now all I have is our old house, filled with memories of what used to be. At 41, life looks different. I've gained 20 pounds, wrinkles have made their mark, and loneliness is my constant companion. I've tried to date, but short-term relationships never turned into anything more. Men just don't seem to want a woman like me, especially one with a child. It bothers me to see how easily men with children find love. I'm not happy anymore. I wish I could go back to when I was younger and change what I did, but now all I have is regret for the choices I made over 10 years ago. I work a job that feels meaningless now, sharing custody of my son, watching him go off to spend time at my ex-husband's house with his new, beautiful wife. Next to her, I feel worthless, like something thrown away. My therapist has been trying to help, encouraging me to find happiness in little things, like a makeover. I tried getting a new hairstyle, but every glance in the mirror reminds me that no matter what I do, I still look like a middle-aged woman. I just feel broken. I wish I had been a better wife all those years ago. I know many people preach the advantages of being alone and single, but honestly, this is not the life I would wish on my worst enemy.
My fiancé's been dating a woman our entire relationship. My girlfriend and I about 4 years ago, things were great, we meshed really well, we had a lot of chemistry, we never really fought. I asked her to marry me 6 months ago and she said yes. I was on top of the world. We were making plans to buy a house on top of planning the wedding. A few weeks ago, she took a trip to see her best friend from college, Sasha. She flies to see Sasha maybe once or twice a year, and has for as long as I've known her. During quarantine, she road-tripped. When she got back, she seemed out of sorts. I asked her if something happened on the trip, but she said no. I decided to plan a surprise for her birthday, a video compilation of all her friends saying nice things about her for her birthday. I don't have Sasha's contact information, so I went into my girlfriend's phone while she was in the shower. I wasn't trying to snoop, but I pulled up Sasha's messages, and it just sprung out at me. Sasha had written, "I'm sorry I didn't give you the answer you wanted. You've always been too good for me. Go through with the wedding." I couldn't stop myself from scrolling up, and I didn't see anything else about the wedding. I thought she was having second thoughts about marrying me. There were a ton of messages and they were in constant contact all day every day. I noticed a lot of very lovely messages. My girlfriend always tells her friends she loves them and that they're gorgeous, but these were like semi-intimate. I went into panic mode, and my girlfriend walked in the room before I could think things through. She asked me what was wrong because I was really pale. I just blurted out, "What's going on with Sasha? Do you not want to marry me?" We had a long argument, and she ended up admitting that she was in love with Sasha. They dated for 5 years before my girlfriend and I met, but Sasha is closeted, so they never told anyone except for their close circle. Sasha broke it off the same year we met, but they stayed friends. I knew my girlfriend is bi, but she never told me about a girlfriend. She admitted to cheating on me with Sasha, and said she had been from the start. On her last trip to see Sasha, she told Sasha if she still wanted to be together, my girlfriend would call off the wedding, but Sasha said no. My girlfriend said she loves both me and Sasha. She said she never wanted to hurt me, and always felt bad about cheating on me, but it's hard for her to ignore Sasha, so every time Sasha asked her to come, she went. We broke up and I'm staying with my brother. I haven't told him or anyone else why we broke up. I don't even know where to start with canceling wedding stuff.
Today I messed up by having lesbian intimacy with my future sister-in-law. We'll refer to my boyfriend 27 male as Henry and his sister 23 female as Jess. The actual bulk of this story took place 4 years ago, with the reality of the situation revealed to me last night. Just over 6 months ago, I 24 female started dating Henry. He's honestly unlike any man I've ever met. He's charming, caring, funny and incredibly attractive. I've always been one to move into things fast and we've recently started planning to move in together. I honestly see him as the man I will marry one day. Henry mentioned early on that he had a younger sister, Jess, who had gone to work as a nurse in another country. I'd only ever seen a few pictures of her, and they were mostly from when they were teenagers. I never gave them a second thought. That was, until Jess came home for her father's 70th birthday celebration. As soon as I gave her a hug to say hello, I remembered who she was. Not long after, I think it clicked for her too. I met Jess at a bar when I was 20. We hit it off right away and, with a bit of alcohol to help, she ended up back at my place. Obviously, we had made love that night, and once more after that, I realized I was bi when I was 16, but I didn't explore it until my early 20s. Common decency prevents me from being too explicit about it, but this time involved me experimenting with being very dominant. Jess and I didn't have plain, vanilla lovemaking. It was probably the craziest intimacy I've ever had in my life, even more than with Henry, only making things more uncomfortable. I aptly avoided Jess for the rest of the 70th birthday party, a large event, so it wasn't too hard, but now I'm not sure how to approach this. I don't know how I'm supposed to look Henry in the eye now that I've realized what I did to his sister. Henry knows I'm bi, but, as far as I know, he doesn't know his sister is as well, let alone that we've been intimate on 2 occasions. This doesn't even factor in that I can't avoid his sister forever. My medical condition has made me an enemy of Islam. I, 21F, am a college student that suffers from alopecia and a rare skin condition called solar urticaria. For those that don't know what either are, alopecia is a condition that causes me to spontaneously lose patches of my hair, and solar urticaria causes me to break out into hives and welts whenever my skin gets exposure to the sun. I made the brave decision of shaving my head last year due to my alopecia because I would have a breakdown whenever I had one of my flare-ups. It was a very hard decision for me, and I missed having hair. I tried different treatments and even wore wigs, but my skin had a bad reaction to one of the wig glues that I used and I ended up getting a skin infection. I had to take tetracycline to treat it, which my body also had a very negative reaction to, and as a result, I developed solar urticaria. Solar urticaria is a very rare and very painful disease, and there's unfortunately no cure. Talk about bad luck. I'm still taking treatments for both conditions, although I am notably staying away from wigs. I had no problem rocking the bald look after the wig fiasco, but after being diagnosed with solar urticaria, the lack of hair on my head became a problem due to there being no protection for my scalp. I was coming up with ways to appease my solar urticaria because dealing with the symptoms were not fun. So I began to wear long-sleeve shirts and pants, and I would apply heavy amounts of sunscreen, and I would take the medication that my doctor prescribed. I also started to wear scarves on my head. When I first started wearing my scarves, I had trouble keeping them on my head, so I started watching hijab tutorials on YouTube, and I got pretty good at wearing them. I would like to clarify that I am not Muslim, I just use the hijab tutorials to help me wear my scarves better. The trouble started when one of my classmates who is Muslim invited me to join out school's Muslim student union. I then told her that I wasn't actually Muslim, I just covered myself from head to toe for medical reasons. This offended my classmate and she said that I was making a mockery of her religion, and how dare I wear the hijab for selfish purposes. That's why I came here to Reddit. I had no intention of mocking the religion. I just wanted to make my quality of life more bearable. I have had less solar urticaria flare-ups due to the scarves, but I had no clue that what I was doing could actually be deemed offensive. However, I may be the jerk in this situation since I never bothered to research if what I am doing is okay. I really don't want to stop wearing my scarves because my life has become so much easier, but I'm now public enemy number 1 to all the Muslims at my college and I don't know what to do.
I bought my homophobe brother-in-law gay-themed paintings for his house. When my sister said she was getting married, I was happy for her. But as the wedding day approached, I realized I didn't know much about the man she was marrying. I became curious and started looking through his Facebook feed to learn more about him. That's when I found something that made me stop and think. I found a bunch of posts against LGBT people on his page. There were pictures and words that made it clear he didn't like gay and trans folks, and some even hinted at violence towards them. Mixed in with all that were photos of him showing off guns and hunting gear, trying to look like a rugged outdoorsman. As someone who is openly gay, and with one of my sisters being bi, I found these posts deeply troubling. I was taken aback, upset, and even a little scared about who my sister was going to marry. But in the end, family is family, and it wasn't my place to choose who she marries. Even with my concerns, I couldn't ignore that the wedding was coming up, and I still needed to find a gift for the couple. Looking through their registry, I noticed items that seemed chosen by my sister, who didn't know much about hunting or her future husband's obtrusive hobbies. And then, right there in the middle of the list, something stood out to me. In the list of gifts, I spotted a set of nature paintings, each with only male animals. 2 deer in one painting, 2 moose in another, all males. Now, here's what makes these paintings special. Moose are usually solitary and gather together mainly during mating season, and when they do, it's typically one male with many females. Deer, on the other hand, are known for spending time with the same sex. These paintings, with their subtle depiction of male animals together, were a quiet nod to the LGBTQ community. My excitement was hard to hold back as I picked out those paintings. I found myself laughing at the thought of the situation. This man, who liked to show off his hunting skills but had never done more than shoot at tin cans with a second-hand firearm, would soon have his walls adorned with beautiful art that subtly celebrated same-sex relationships. On the day of the wedding, I observed him admiring the paintings, seeing only the masculine themes and missing the hidden meaning. My sister, unaware of his objectionable opinions, radiated joy, and I couldn't help but share her smile. Even though I had no control over my sister's decision, I had managed to express myself in a subtle way. The graceful yet unpretentious art would adorn their walls, serving as a continuous and silent reminder that love and nature don't always conform to traditional norms. In the end, it's about accepting the varied and intricate nature of life, something my future brother-in-law might learn one day. Until that time, I find peace in knowing that their home is decorated with a subtle nod to the very thing he openly dislikes, and he has no clue. I did No Nut November, and somehow thought it would be a good idea to bring my date to a drag show. Now she won't talk to me. No Nut November. This year was my first attempt at not self-pleasuring or making love for an entire month. Why did I feel compelled to do this? No idea. I stopped making sense ages ago. Without wasting your time with unnecessary suspense, I'll confirm that I made it through No Nut November without cheating. The mess up was what happened towards the end of November. A friend of mine invited me to his drag show. My friend, who's the most introverted gay guy during the day, enjoyed dressing up as an exuberant woman at night and performing at popular gay clubs. I accepted his invitation and showed up at one of the biggest and busiest gay clubs in our area to watch him do his thing. I was there with my date, Ellie. While Ellie and I were watching my friend sing and dance on stage, I could feel my bladder struggling to keep the floodgates closed. I waited until my friend had to change outfits backstage before I decided to rush to the restroom. There was a queue. My friend was in the middle of his post-outfit change performance when I eventually emerged from the restroom. At that moment, my friend was no longer just performing on stage. He was moving through the crowd while singing and dancing and taking off his clothing. I should have followed my gut and stayed close to the restroom where I was literally out of the spotlight, at least until my friend was on the stage again, but I thought I could low-key return to my seat without drawing any attention. I thought wrong. The spotlight landed on me like the eye of Sauron as soon as I made my way back to my seat. My friend suddenly appeared next to me wearing nothing but a itty-bitty thing and introduced me to the crowd as his straight friend. My friend did not leave it at that. He made me sit down before proceeding to give me a personal dance in front of everyone. Keep in mind, I've not self-pleasured or made love for weeks when this happened. It didn't take much to trigger a stiffy. As soon as my friend planted his butt on my lap and began grinding, I was rock hard. The worst part was when the lap dance was over and my friend got up. My pants did an extremely poor job of hiding my stiffy and the damn spotlight on me was not helping the situation at all. It was embarrassing, not only for me, but apparently also for Ellie. She was literally hiding her face behind her hands. It was an awkward end to our date. Ellie ghosted me afterwards and my friend has been bragging about giving me a stiffy since the drag show. It was an unforgettable experience for all the wrong reasons.